No one can hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, you were muted.
Okay,
We were trying to tell you you're unmuted.
And my system is not working. So anyway, at least you can hear me because I cannot hear what is going on. So
can you hear us?
Good morning, everyone. I can't hear you either, Chris. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, and I can't hear me, and I can't hear anything. Can you guys in the audience hear us?
I'm asking Gwen if she can hear me.
Because the system has had a malfunction. Hold on a second. Let's try to get the computer working again. Okay, can you hear me?
Sorry about that, guys. Testing. Can you hear me?
I can't hear myself. Okay. Okay, I just have to trust everything's working. Good morning. And I can't hear anyone, but we'll figure this out. So let me say good morning to some folks. And I see Hannah's in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. And I see also Chris is in the building. She says, good morning, all. And we see Mr. Brian Young is in the building. Howdy. And Elise says, good morning, everyone. Jazzy's in the building. She says, good morning, beautiful people. And also our wonderful Janet says, greetings all. And Hannah says, she's saying some greetings. Good morning, Hannah. Good morning. Good. Yes, we hear you, and Chris as well. Okay, so
yeah,
I'm
so
the only
Ron,
one that seems to be out of whack on this end. My mic's not working. So it's okay. You can hear me. As long as you can hear me, that's okay. And I'm gonna just have to turn on the computer to just hear you guys. We can hear you. I know you can. I can hear both of you. Good morning, everyone. Says Kelly. Yay. She's in the building. And if you're in the building, make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the likes. There should be an equal number of likes of the folks that are in the building. Okay, Chris. Good morning. What's going on, Chris?
Good morning, sir. I'm sorry you can't hear me. It's okay, but I'm here. I got my audio stuff figured out from our conversation from earlier in the week. I'm good. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news.
Hold on a second.
He's going to get it together, guys.
I'll get it. We'll get together somehow.
Well, I'm back. I'm back here on my regular schedule with you and the entire RLP family. So welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys have had a great little hiatus. Ron is back in full swing and doing well. And I think can you hear me, Ron? Can you hear me or no? He can't hear me. All right, well, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
I can hear you I'm hearing you in delay on the TV, but I cannot have no sound on my computer for some reason.
All right, well, I'm turning it back over to you now.
Okay, so guys, thank you. This is going to be a strange kind of show because I do not have sound. I am flying like a pilot without radar.
Let's just hope we can land this plane safely.
So, and I am also on a 30-second delay. So here we are. Okay, so I'm going to bring the ladies on. I'm going to let you guys have a conversation, and then I'm going to figure out on my end what's going on today. So let's bring Gwendolyn on and bring Elise on. And there they are. There's the ladies. And I am going to figure out what's going on with my computer. So Chris, take it away. I'm out.
Okay. You know what, Ron? You might want to jump out and jump back in. That might help. Yeah. There, he got it. Good morning, ladies. How are you guys doing today?
I'm in good morning.
I know Gwendolyn was having a field day. We're sitting there chatting in our private chatting on the phone, trying to figure it out. I'm like, can you guys hear me?
Wow. That's a new one.
Yeah, so, you know, technical issues, they happen every once in a while, so you know you just got to deal with it. But let's see who's in the room. Let me scroll back down. Good morning, Hannah. I see she was number 1 in the room. Chris R is number 2, and Bryant Young, the creative, is number 3. Let's see who else is in the room. Jazzy's in the room. Janet is in the room. Of course, our 2 lovely ladies on the screen, Elise and Miss Gwendolyn. So welcome everybody to Touch Base Daily for Thursday. Ladies, how you guys doing?
I'm good.
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
How are you guys managing with the state of this crazy ass world?
Well, you know, for myself, I am staying connected to my community, which let me just give a quick update since our host is out. So I'm a reading partner, and I went to the elementary school yesterday. First of all, kids are savages. Can I just say that? These kids were eyeing me down yesterday. Eyeing me down, making the comments, and all I could think was, Gwendolyn, don't let them see you sweat. Don't do it.
Because they will eat you alive.
They were, I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. Now I can't fight somebody's child. It's my first day on the job. You know what I'm saying?
How old are they? How old are these kids?
I want to say that the aisle, the hallway that we went down, it was a mixture. I think the kids that were across the hall were like 4th graders because they was kind of tall, unless I'm just short and something's happening with the prenatal care. I don't know. But I have a 1st grader she was like, but she's bald. I said, okay.
Wow. Kids
I was like, this is how we're starting this relationship. So, but you know, kids will test you. It's the first day. We had to get to know each other. I go back today. I have a kindergartner today. It's her first day in the program. It's my first day with her. So this should be interesting. But I was like, was I that kid? I was never that kid. I got picked on in school, and it's like I'm back there again. So
I can kind of see you as that kid. No nonsense. Tell her like it is, and be like,
I was bullied for a little bit. You know, I had glasses then. You know, glasses weren't popular then, right?
Right.
But I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because, you know, kids will do what kids do. They test you. The little girl yesterday, she obviously tested me. She wanted to skip pages and do other things. And I said, look, you know, we have to learn each other here, but we are going to read this book. So no Play-Doh until we read the book. So, but you know, this is testing my patience. I was like, these are not my grandbabies. They were not my grandbabies. But it is it's a good hour of joy and, you know, a chance to read books and get into character with the kids and everything and have some fun, you know. So I'm feeling pretty good. That's how I'm staying grounded right now.
Okay. Elise, what about you?
I'm doing well. Gwendolyn, I can tell you, kids are like that. They're gonna say what comes to their mind. They don't mean any harm. You just have to know how to respond back. That's all. Like by choice. She's bald by choice. But anyway,
yeah.
You have to let them know you're something you choose to do. But you know, just trying on my side, you know, I'm keeping up with things, but not going in depth with anything and looking at things for what they are, you know, and not getting bogged down by it all. There's no fear, no weariness around it, and just understanding that people are learning some stuff, you know, coming to face the realities that were out there. That unfortunately for some, you know, is a painful reality. And some of them are too embarrassed to say, hey, you know, that was a mistake, you know, so it is what it is, right? So I'm just here watching the show.
Okay. So, you know what? I missed yesterday's show because I know yesterday was the first day back for Ron, and I saw you guys were on there with him. And I like I said, I didn't watch the show, so I don't know exactly what you talked about. I can only imagine. And I'm sure you guys touched a State of the Union, if that's what you want to call it. I personally did not watch it. I was not going to give him any type of ratings. I, you know, followed it via social media, via like Blue Sky. That is my choice of getting my news nowadays. I haven't been on Twitter for a very long time. I don't do Facebook. You get some things through Instagram, but Instagram is more of like the memes of the things coming out of it, whereas you can get some real good insights and an overview from Blue Sky. Of course, we know he lied throughout the entire presentation. It was the longest State of the Union ever. Right. And that's not saying anything because he's not saying anything of substance. He's lied throughout the entire thing. And the thing that gets me, so as we know, the congressman that was escorted out by the sergeant at arms has now been censured as of this morning. And the thing that, I find fascinating is these Democrats, like when it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, they didn't do any of that. They didn't ask her to leave. Of course, Biden engaged with her. And, I thought that was kind of smart. But here's the thing. These people are not playing by the rules anymore. So you need to take the gloves off and go in. I thought that the Democrats only like partially walking out and doing partial signs was not the best approach. If you're going to do something, be unified.
Right.
Either you all get up and walk out. That is a sign and a show of solidarity for your fellow man. That either you do that or you all do signs, or just do something collective. I think that it was a weak, in a way, response. It could have been a little bit more forceful, a little bit more impactful. But that's just my particular take on it. I think a lot of people, though, are starting to see this Orange Menace for who he is, and they're having a lot of regrets. But I have to say, I feel no sympathy for them whatsoever. And that might be, people might look down on that, but that's just where I am personally with it. You had an opportunity to stand up for yourself, for your country, and for others, and you chose not to. You chose to look out for your best interest. And now that your best interest isn't what you thought it was, you want sympathy. And I say, take your ass to the back of the room because there's no sympathy here to be given. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I will. So the Democrats, let me start there. Those little auction paddles, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. There are some people who are clearly in a different universe and time that they are still thinking, I can come here with decorum and act a certain way. There are times where you have to match energy. Now, if I could take a masterclass with Zelensky, because the brother was putting it down without having to put it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I want that in my life. I'm not quite there yet. I can do some stuff, and then sometimes I'm just cuss you out and be done with it. But it would have been nice had they all gotten up and walked out or just not been there to show some sort of backbone. But then today to agree to censure, Al Green is like, whose team are y'all on? Like, I'm not understanding. Right. I do not understand. It is so frustrating. If anything, hopefully these kind of movements will really grow an independent party. Because this ain't it. This over here is not it. And it just absolutely irks me. If you're not going to be on the team, then I don't know. I'm without words. So I'm gonna let Mr. say her piece.
So wait, Elise, before you start, let me just address some of the comments. Who is it? Lisa. Just so you know, Ron is here. He's in the background right now. He is having some technical issues. We didn't want to stop the show. He can't hear any of us. We can hear everything, but he can't hear any of us. So he's trying to fix that. And once he gets that fixed, he'll jump right back on in. Hello, Dr. Tachi. Hello, Kim. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to Touch Space Daily. Elise, yes, your response.
Look, it's like you said, the Democrats can't go through being the ones who are always taking the high road anymore. You can't do that anymore. You're gonna have to act out. And I see, and they needed to be more unified. They definitely needed to be more unified. Everybody walk out at the same time. That's what you do. And then we talk about, the fact that, Coney Barrett and Marjorie Taylor Greene and how they behave, and they didn't say, hey, get out. They didn't throw them out. And even in the committees, they're starting to not impose the rules equally, right? So Democrats are shut down. Marjorie Taylor Greene gets to say any and everything crazy that she wants to say, which is crazy. And I saw Lisa say, she was actually supporting the censure because that was an appropriate debate. I think it was fine that he did it. I think it was fine. If somebody needed to stand up, I think, what does it mean about appropriate setting? The setting was, I need to show people that he did not get a mandate to cut Medicaid. Mm-hmm. And most people don't understand what Medicaid supports. If you have a relative or someone who is older and they have to have an assisted living facility, it pays for that stuff. It pays for those things. And those things are impacted. It's not just some poor people sitting out there doing nothing and getting free health care on the backs of taxpayers. That's not the only thing it encompasses. And I think we need to be real clear about that. And at some point, what Green said, he said he didn't care if he was censored. He figured he would be, because he knows the environment he was in. And so he was willing to take that risk. For 8 Democrats to vote for it, that's a that I don't think they should have voted for it. They had enough Republicans to carry it out. They didn't need their help. And so,
also, let me jump in now that you can hear me. And I can
welcome
hear you.
back, sir.
Okay. Some really technical difficulties over here, but also people and the red states are about to find this out, is that Medicaid not only deals with medicine or hospital, it's also feeding so many young people. Kids get fed across the country, poor, impoverished areas that can't afford a meal a day, get food through the Medicaid system. So it's just, to me, ironic. And I should say the hypocrisy, the nerve, all the adjectives you can think of, is that you have these rich people taking away, and again, these portions of the overall budget is small. You're picking on the small man or woman in the budget. Now, I mentioned Gwendolyn say all they have to do is say, you know what, we don't have to do a space program. Let's not give money to Elon. We don't need 3 extra jets that are not working. Those 3, what they call them, the 35 Falcons, I think they call it 35 something. They're not working, and they cost $8 trillion a piece.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is just get rid of 3 of those. That's $24 trillion.
I mean, but we know that that's not what this is about. It's not
about the money.
It's not. And I want to go back and touch on something that Gwendolyn had made mention about when she was speaking in regards to Zelensky being in the White House last week, Friday. One, that was the most despicable display ever had in the White House, in the Oval Office. And it had nothing to do with the visitor of the White House. It had to do with the occupants of the White House. That was a setup from Jump Street. And it was intended for an audience of one, from Russia, Putin. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. You know, in that very moment, the United States has alienated itself from everyone else in the world, all of its allies. I mean, now you have publicly the people that we've called allies all of our lives for generations are on opposing sides of us. You know, all the, not just that, but even like the trade wars that now he has started with Canada and with Mexico, our 2 largest trading partners in the world. He is trying to tax everything. And what he fails to realize is the farmers that grow the grains and the crops, the majority of the food that they grow go to these countries because we make excess of what we need to sustain life here in the United States. Okay? Construction wise, the majority of our lumber that we use to construct homes and businesses come from Canada.
Yes.
The majority of our car parts come either from Canada or Mexico. A lot of the foods we eat that people love their avocados, their avocado toast, the avocado toast and the avocado for the chips and dip. Where's it coming from? Mexico. So you doing all of this only hurts us. I mean, quote unquote Republicans who are in the automotive industry are saying it's going to hurt us. A car that, has a certain price tag, say $60,000, $80,000, is going up by another $10,000, $20,000. It's going to sit there on the lot because no one can afford to purchase that car for that. Financing is going to go up. Everything is going up. What happened to day one? I'm going to lower grocery prices. Eggs are going to come down.
It's not about that.
Everything, cost of living is going to come down. It's never been about that.
No.
He's up there talking about, oh, we're going to have Greenland because we need it by force or whatever. We're going to have that. What the hell that got to do with eggs, child? You have people smuggling eggs from south of the border into the United States now because of the fact that it's cheaper to bring the eggs in from the south because we can't afford to grow the eggs here. What is going on, people?
Upside down cake. It's like, what the F?
Eggs.
What the F is going on?
I'm coming off my soapbox now.
No, that's okay. Because the thing is that we are living, and again, let me just put out there, please hit the like if you are in the building. Make sure you hit the likes so that way we can generate other people to know that we're on. But you're saying something that's very, right now today in Brussels, they're having a meeting, or they had it already. They are working on getting their infrastructure together for building the weapons that they need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So now think about it. The world is a less safe place because now everyone is saying, wait a minute, didn't the Ukrainians have nuclear weapons? They were the third largest collection of nuclear weapons. And then it was Russia and the United States that said, you don't need those weapons because we will protect you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then one of the people at the table attacked the country that got rid of their nuclear weapons. So now you're going to have all of these countries. Everyone's going to say, we need nuclear weapons as a deterrent.
And the other thing, too, I think this needs to be pointed out, and people need to really listen to this. This orange menace is trying to pull us out of NATO.
Yeah.
And once that happens, everything is off the table.
But, technically, we are out of it. We are really out of it. Because he already said, if something happens to one of the NATO countries, he said, they say, would you support? Would you defend? I'll have to think about that. The NATO alliance is not, I think about it. It's war with one is war with all.
Yeah.
And so this guy has already pulled us out of NATO, pulled us out of our alliances. We are no longer part of we're technically on paper part of the NATO. We're on paper part of G7, G8, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we're not. That's not who we are. And again, that's why France is taking the lead right now, and Germany, those two countries. Right now, today in Brussels, they are meeting right now. Or like I said, maybe it was earlier today because hours are gone, or maybe it's an all-day event. I have no idea how long they're going to be meeting, but they are working on how are they going to a new Europe without the United States. Every country around the world that depended upon the United States is now saying the United States is not our friend.
Yeah,
but isn't it telling that the actions that he's taking, will take, it speaks to how a section of Americans see themselves. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, that American life is living in a silo. It's all about me, and I don't need anybody else. I mean, we see people make their videos and they say, no one ever helped me. No one ever. Those are lies we tell ourselves. Somebody had to help you because they were your first customer, or they loaned you the car, or they gave you $10, whatever it is. You didn't do it by yourself.
That's right.
It's not done by yourself. This whole deal of make America great again, you forget you are not in this world. Like, we are global citizens. But he's behaving as if it's just about this one place. You've started fights with your neighbors, and your neighbors are like, you got us confused with somebody else. And it's not going to end well. Now, I don't know what needs to happen. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm with Canada. Shut all that shit off. Turn them lights off. Turn the alcohol away. People need to feel the pain because people really believe that they don't need anyone else to make this work. Those are the lies we tell ourselves.
Well, the whole thing is a lie. that America could be great by itself. It's a lie.
That's the biggest
We
lie.
all need the other countries. We need each other.
Yep. It's a global community.
We are a global.
We don't live in isolation.
Yeah.
You would like to believe that, but we don't.
Can I say something else? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So in just a larger picture, the fact that now we are not supporting Ukraine, what that allows Russia to do is to continue to move in and take over this country. Do you honestly believe that Putin is going to stop there?
No.
And what he's trying to do is slowly make his way down into Europe and take that over. Now, you're allowing this man to do this. And, you've got Germany, you've got France, you've got England. Yes, they're going to back one another, but they're going to need support as well. This man is giving his best friend everything that he's ever wanted. Let me tell you something. I would not have been surprised if I saw Putin show up at the State of the Union, standing behind him. I honestly, I thought that I was going to see like breaking news. Putin's in Washington, D.C., and he shows up at the State of the Union. I mean, he's already asked for him to join the G7 and make it the G8. He wants to incorporate Russia into every little thing that we're doing. But here's the thing, though. People need to understand this. We've said this here many a times. I'm always referencing Rachel Maddow. Please, if you don't watch her or listen to her, listen to what some of the things that she is saying, because she's giving out facts and she's looking at history. All this has been done before. This has happened before. It's just life repeating itself. But the reason why we think that it's new is because people don't believe in history. People don't believe in reading. People don't believe in doing research anymore. I mean, the fact that you're sitting there and banning books, you're not teaching history, and you don't want to teach any history unless it's white history, whitewashed history. There's no way you're going to know these things. That is why it's important for us as individuals to do our research and to listen to people that actually have done research and have facts to back it up. This has all been done before. This is nothing new at all. I put in our group chat earlier this week an episode, I think it was Tuesday's episode of Maddow. That was a really good episode. And then also, this is a side note, and I have to just kind of pull this up because I saw it, I think it was late last night or this morning when it came on the wire. House Speaker Mike Johnson's chief of staff arrested for DUI after Trump's speech, after the State of the Union. These are the best people. So you mean to tell me, if you get pulled over for a DUI after the State of the Union, that means that you was fucked up during the State of the Union. You're drinking on the job? And guess what?
Take a shot for every lie that was told.
You are a federal employee. And here's the thing that's really pissing me off about a lot of these Congress people, especially like Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying how these federal employees, they're worthless and they shouldn't be paid. Sweetheart, what was the saying that they called her Butch Queen, whatever? You're a federal employee. You are a federal employee. The people that work on your staff are federal employees. So guess what? We shouldn't be paying you either. Go step to the back of the line because we don't got nothing for you, girl. It's so, I don't even know the
frustrating.
word.
It's frustrating.
We've said it. I know myself and Isla talked about this yesterday. You have a mixture of people in this country, those who understand the struggle to get where we are today and those who have never had to struggle. Therefore, they have blinders on. They either have their head in the sand or their head in the clouds, and none of this could ever impact me because why? I've never had any struggle. They literally are first world problem people.
Yes.
They have no idea. You take for granted what you didn't work for. So the example I used yesterday was from Jurassic Park. Right? Remember when they're all at the table and they're eating their little sea bass? And the whole idea was you have scientists who were working on stuff and plowed through it, never stopping to think, should they even do what they're doing because they didn't have to work for the research. When you don't have to work for something, you don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate it. You just don't. It's like, it's always been here. I've always had. So because you've always had civil rights, and you've always had a place to speak and do whatever, you don't know life without. And because you've never had it, never in your mind did you think it could be lost. You never thought about that I could lose this one day. You think, oh my God, my phone is missing. Now they took away TikTok and there was an uproar.
Oh my God, that was the thing that set people in a frenzy. The fact that you can use the fact that an app that, when it really boils down to it, isn't really that significant. Yes, some people use it for work, whatever. I can understand that there, but most people are just watching it for the memes and the dances and stuff like that. That's more important than your healthcare, than having security of knowing that if a storm is coming, there's someone there to say, "Hey, be prepared for this." They've eliminated all these services, but TikTok is the thing that you decide is too far.
Okay, so for me, and I'm always looking at metaphors, so forgive me really quick. I walked out into my garage and I saw this light beam on the floor. And I thought, what is that? It was a crack that I did not notice in the garage door. In times of darkness, there's always a sliver of light. So for some people who lost TikTok, for them, it was a wake-up call. You put all your eggs in one basket, and now there's a hole in that bitch. Figure that shit out. For other people, they go back to status quo.
Yes.
That hole is not big enough for them yet. We are reaching that point for some people. We're reaching it because this is just the beginning of us falling off the cliff as the lemmings. This is the beginning. People have talked about it. Get your community, get with some people.
Yes.
Don't be on an island. There's a reason why there is a generation of people who have high anxiety. There's a reason why. It doesn't have to be that way, but we're just starting this roller coaster. We are still going up. We have not even come down yet. It's about to get good, y'all. It's about to get good.
This is like the first, like, you know, you're just getting in the car.
Yes,
you're getting out the car, and you hear the thing going.
You hear that chain has grasped it and starting to pull you up. That's what that is.
That's it. We've not even gotten to the top of the crest.
So just getting good. But if I may take a slight pivot, because I'm gonna pick on my friend Ron. We always had these conversations yesterday.
Oh, we have some good ones.
He gave me this whole science class yesterday. But I thought, clearly the bots listened because we were discussing fear.
Yes.
And I was telling Ron yesterday that fear is one of the biggest drugs sold in America. The biggest drug sold. The biggest. And it doesn't, it was interesting that this morning there's this video from Saul Williams discussing fear and how you can control people because it's been instilled in them to react with fear. His whole quote was, "Fear is the motivator," which I don't subscribe to. We don't do those things. This is that whole thing with the Matrix. I took the pill to get out of the Matrix. I'm okay right now. I'm fine. I'm fine.
And so
fear
Gwendolyn had her point about. So, Gwendolyn, did you get it all out?
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna let you say your piece. Ron gave me this whole science class about like Confucius and Socrates and all this other stuff and mammals and things. And I was like, Ron, you were on page 115. I'm on page 12. Get on the same goddamn page. We are not talking about what the body has. I am telling you that this country specifically has done well by instilling fear in people and keeping folks in control with fear. How? Because some rich white man told this poor white man that these black or brown people are stealing from you. You better watch them. How many years ago was that?
I agree with you 100%.
Don't you do it, Ron Foster. I swear to God, don't you even try to don't you do it. Don't bring that.
You don't want me to talk about the amygdala?
Don't do it. Let go of the fear, people. Go with the
fear. Fear is a big. They did a survey about Americans and the rest of the world, and they said the people with the most fear, as in countries and the people that live in their countries around the world, the Americans came up as number one. They have the biggest, they're driven by fear, they react by fear, They're motivated by fear. They are They're engulfed by fear. They're the most afraid people on the planet. Most people are moving around on their days, and they live their lives, and they have less than we have.
But you know what?
But yet
you know why
Americans
though?
are fearful.
You know why? Because Americans believe this notion of one, they're better than everyone else, and then they don't step outside of themselves to see what the rest of the world sees. The moment you step foot out this country and see how everyone else lives, you live in less fear. That's one.
Yes.
You know, and we just have to get over this concept that we are better than everyone, because we're not. Whenever I travel overseas, and when I started traveling years ago, it really set in for me that America is not what you think it is. It's not. It's not number one in the country. I mean, in the world. You know, yes, there are certain advantages that we can take full advantage of if we're lucky. But other places around the world have it way better than we do. They're living better lives. They're living longer.
Less stress.
They have better systems, less stress. I mean, you have communities like Norwegian countries where they're living really long lives. They have free healthcare, free benefits. They can be at home for a year plus with their child, and not just you know, the woman who's given birth, but it could be the husband, the boyfriend. Like, they have all of these things, and that gives them a better quality of life. Us as Americans, we're always about work till you can't work no more, and then you work to death. You never appreciate it, and it's just not the life to live. America is not. I mean, listen, I thank the U.S. for all the opportunities that I've had, and to be able to be on platforms and do different things, but America ain't it.
It's interesting. I put out the poll. I'm starting to use my poll a lot more better and get more.
I've noticed.
Playing with it says, do you feel safer as an American? 82% of you said yes. Feel safe. No, as to feeling safer. However, there are 18% of you that feel that we are. There's a yes. They feel safer. Interesting. Who are those 18%ers? I would like to know. You feel safer.
I'm in Texas. We have guns. No, I'm just kidding. Pull up, as the pastor say, pull up on me.
I tell you one thing is that things are about to get real serious, and again, people in the red states are going to be targeted, because I'm listening to the conversations of the Canadians. They are specifically targeting the red states because they put the moron inside the office. So they're going after Kentucky. I think it was Kansas. Which one does Jack Daniels? Is Jack Daniels Kentucky?
Tennessee.
Or is it Kansas?
I think it's Tennessee.
Kentucky, right?
I want to say Maker's Mark is in
Kentucky.
Well,
no, sorry. Kentucky. I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, because they pulled all Jack Daniels off the shelves in Canada, and
yes,
they are not selling it at all. So all those people are going to have to start. Well, they said eventually will happen. This is what the Canadian guy said. He goes, we will not sell your products. And when we don't sell your products, you will not make money. Your company will not make money. And your company will lay you off. And that's so people don't understand. Again, tariffs are good for no one.
Nobody.
Tariffs are good for no one. I'm going to share this one thing from our former president, Ronald Reagan. And I want you to listen to this, because, people, the Republican Party loves to talk about how they love Reagan, and, that's the Republican thing. Oh, Reagan. However, this Republican Party, Reagan could not even be a member of. And
absolutely
here we go.
not.
So let me share with you something that Reagan shared. And it's just a little teaching moment. I think will help as we talk about where we are in this whole little crazy rat race of America. Let me see. Let me get this all. Okay, let me get it there. And they'll be queued up in a moment. Give me a moment.
Are we still doing Cinco de Mayo?
Oh, is it Cinco de Mayo today?
Baby boy, let me say.
No.
No, I was asking Ron.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, it's already here. I think it's
No.
mid-March, right?
You know what? Maybe I need to pick a flight and like
It's May.
and do a house check.
Cinco de Mayo is in May, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Wrong month.
Not with you
okay.
today.
Here we go. I'm going to
We're in Shamrock season.
Okay, here we go. Come on.
No audio.
Here we go.
Doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity.
There you have it. So again, this is people. I mean, people keep believing the lie. But remember, I keep saying to everyone, if you want to understand what's going on today, crack open the history books or go on Google and start to go to Google and say, go on Google, what were the most significant things that happened in the world under Hitler between 1929 to 1934? You will see a lot of what's happening right now. Ronald Reagan talks about the 30s with tariffs. Hello, remember, we were in the Great Depression. Part of it was also caused the tariffs. And here's a thought. Maybe you can, maybe anyone in the audience or community will be able to say, challenge my thinking. But what if this is all part of the great plan? Meaning, they want people hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They want people in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
They want people without jobs. They want people without their educations. They want people sick. They want people hurting. They want people in pain. Because when that happens, when people can't eat, there's rage. They go into the streets with their, fire torches, and they go into the streets burning down things. They go into the streets tearing down stuff. They go into the street and they go to the White House, and someone will be trying to clamor in and climb the gates of the White House to get in. And then they will try to hold some of Congress hostage, or they will start to lose their minds. The people will begin to lose their minds. And then what happens? Can we go back to 1930s? Martial.
Yes. Listen to me.
Martial
that
law.
is the goal. That is the goal.
The goal is to set us up for martial law.
Yep. Where he has full and complete power. That's what he wants.
That's what's going on.
That's what he wants. Hey, but here's the thing, though. I don't know if he or they are smart enough to think of all the scenarios through.
Mm-mm.
They can't possibly.
For it to be successful. I don't know that they are wise enough to have everything in place to have that actually happen. Let me tell you something. Science fiction is reality on so many different levels. You know, we talked about The Handmaid's Tale, like that's an example. Another really good example of something that can happen. And, you know, I know you've talked about it a little bit, or you've spoken about this show, but this show Paradise on Hulu. I mean, it's not the exact same thing, but there are certain similarities of things that have happened in that series that people need to really pay attention to, because this stuff is not being pulled out of thin air and just being created out of someone's imagination. These are things that they're pulling from reality and things that can happen to us.
And I'll let you continue. Not only is reality, but a lot of this, as we said before earlier, has happened before.
Yes.
A lot of these movies, Handmaid's Tales, all these other, they're extrapolating things that have happened in the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1920s, and then they remake it in a modern story and package it so that we can understand.
So here's another correlation with The Handmaid's Tale. In The Handmaid's Tale, for those that have watched the series, the U.S. is alone in the world.
Yes.
And Canada is our enemy, basically.
Yes.
And there's like treaties and stuff, and people flee to Canada for safety and sanctuary, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what is happening now. This country is isolating itself from Canada and all of our allies, and eventually we will be left alone in the world. And when the shit hits the fan, you know, people are going to flee this country trying to find sanctuary in other countries. Now, here's the irony. People used to do that to us, flock to this country to find safe haven from other countries. And now the roles are reversed or are reversing.
And believe it or not, like I mentioned yesterday, and we're going to talk about some of these this Friday. So we'll have a list of accounts that are getting you prepared for this moment that we're in, because again, like I mentioned yesterday, we have to start thinking about cash on hand.
Yeah.
We have to think about medicine that we need to have extra of. If you have medical problems, you need to be able to get your backpack ready. You need to figure out what kind of backpack you need. I'm going to share one of those tomorrow. And what kind of do you need wheel luggage to travel? Because something like you'll see, and we will be taking our cues from all of those Venezuelans that have left Venezuela, from all the people that have left Honduras, and all the different countries that people have fled from because of distress.
Yeah.
You know, distress on their economies, distress on their people, the criminal, the corruption. Americans cannot imagine. And this is why I know people say, you know what, I can't leave, I can't flee. Guess what? A lot of people in Venezuela didn't think they could get out and move, and when it becomes life and death for you and your family,
can I add
you
to
will
that?
have to flee with a backpack and your precious information of who you are, and that might just be it.
Yeah.
And it's something we have to start. This is our reality, and we have to start thinking in that light.
If I may add, I hear what you guys are saying, and I do believe that at a certain point it will happen, just not sure. A part of me can't help but think that it may just be delayed quite a bit, only because we're speaking right now in an echo chamber. Because we actually read books. We read books, we research, we use common sense, we use our gut. If I look at the average person, there's a reason why a third of this country didn't vote, right? So again, you have people who are living in La La Land. So although there will be some people who are going to fight, or probably the third that were voting more than likely, but that other third, I don't see them fleeing. I don't see them getting up in arms. I don't see them fighting back. even the people who are currently fighting right now, it only happened because someone took their job away or something else happened to them. It was, when it happens to me, I'll get involved. Until then, and even then, with those people being impacted, they're still like, well, this is just how it goes. I guess I'll figure something else out. So I get what you're saying. I don't know about this mass chaos and people fighting in the streets. These folks don't fight for much as is right now.
Well, when people are hungry,
so
many
so now
countries have many countries. Rome did not fall because of an outside force.
No, I get what you're saying. I do believe it can happen. I'm just thinking it's not going to happen like
it's delayed.
It's going to be delayed.
But I don't think it may not happen overnight. I don't think it's maybe. However, though, if we look at history, Hitler was able to dismantle the government in 11 months. Totally take Germany from democracy to autocracy in 11 months, in a couple of
but
days.
you know what, though? He took cues and used the U.S. as an example to do that. I mean, we were the blueprint for it.
Yes.
All right. I want to go back for a quick second because Lisa made a comment in at 11:52. It says, right now, the news that the Orange Menace suspends Mexico tariffs until April 2nd. That was announced last night. So here's the thing. He has put a pause, I think, for another 30 days on Mexico and Canada when it comes to automotive parts and manufacturing. Now, people need to take notice. This is not the first time he did it. That these tariffs were supposed to take effect right when he came in, and he put a pause on it because there was so much backlash. This is the second time now. Here's the thing. This man, this administration does not have a solid plan. They're trying to bully their way doing these things, not thinking about the consequences. And when the courts are saying no, and then when he's realizing that the stock market is tanking because of it, he has to say, we had to stop because this is making him look bad, making me look bad, quote unquote. You know, during his State of the Union address, he didn't even mention that the stock market tanked that day. The stock market went down over 1,000 points over Monday and Tuesday when he was announcing these things.
1,700.
That is a full correction. Now, I'm not a stock market person, but I know a few terms, and Ron can talk to this even more. But if I'm correct, is that considered a correction?
Usually, when a correction, I do believe 10% of the market.
Yeah, and I mean, just this man saying that he's implementing these tariffs and doing these things, the stock market is reacting. And, he was the first one to say years ago, if the stock market dips 10% in a day or two, then that president, whoever's the president at that particular time, should resign.
Yeah,
sir.
His quote was 1,000 points. He said 2 days of 1,000 points. However, people don't realize, and this is, I was on the trading floor during the 1986 crash. So I was on the trading floor. Now, the crash was 600 points. We're in a different market. So think about it. 600 back then was a whole lot because the market had not reached 2,000.
Yeah.
Remember? So you think about the market was just near 2,000 as its max. Today's world, we're at 42,000. So from 1986 to now, the market value is 42,000. So a 600 point move on 42,000 is not a big move. However, if you had a market that was 1,800 and you lost 600 points, do you see what I'm saying? It's about the percentage.
Yeah.
So when you look at the market, oh my God, the market's down 600 points, or the market's down 1,000 points. Even 1,000 point move in today's market is not as devastating as 1,000 point move in 1986 or 85 or 1990.
I get that, but that's still a lot, and it just keeps going down.
It's still a lot psychologically, but it's only a 1% move, or 2% move. Like these moves that You had 1,000 points the other day. It dropped down 1,000 points. It closed at 7 change, and then the other one was 1,000 point drop. Then it came back and closed at 600 down. So, but those are only like 1.20%. So we haven't reached a 10% correction. So we're far from it, but it's psychologically arresting because we're not used to seeing 1,000-point moves in the market at any given moment. So just kind of give you perspective that a 1,000-point move today's market at 42,000 is not the same as a 1,000-point move when the stock market was only at 2,000.
So can I
Go ahead.
make a pivot? It's a thought that I had. So there's a conversation in the comments between Jazzy and Kim Kimmy about Americans going to other places. And I recall, like, right after 9/11, I was in Europe and my Caucasian counterparts were not treated well. Whereas because people couldn't tell where I came from, it was like, oh, okay.
She's from Africa.
So they were like, I think she's okay. She's good people. So it's just interesting that, people talk about going places, but Americans have a bad rap right now.
Yeah.
So, you're looking at people like, I'm seeing how they're discussing that there are some Americans who've gone some places, been attacked. It's like, so we close our borders. We don't want to help anybody, but you want to now leave and go some other place. Now, depending on the reputation, when you leave, I have to wonder, would anybody say, that's a no for you? Like, you can't come into our country now after XYZ has happened. I would love to see how that works out for everybody.
Well, you bring up a good point.
We can just go anywhere.
You bring up a good point because I don't think it's going to be as good as The Handmaid's Tales. I think Canadians are going to say, keep your butt right where you voted for. I don't think Canadians. I mean, Canadians are great people. I love going to Canada. It's one of my favorite places to go. I go down to the port to Penn Station. I get on a train. I can get to Montreal in 8 hours, and I'm happy. Kind of enjoy the scenery, enjoy the food, the best spaghetti and all that stuff up there. But I love Canada. However, I have several friends who are from Canada. And Canadians are kind and generous people.
They are.
They are not fanfare and trying to be more than what they are for the most part. Yeah, and it's not, again, this is a generic statement. This is not every Canadian. They're bad Canadians. I'm sure they're bad Canadians. But I don't think by what Americans brought this on themselves. 1/3 voted for Kamala. 1/3 voted for Trump. 1/3 stayed home and did nothing. So my thing is, I'm in Canada, if I'm in Paris, in France or Spain or one of these countries, even Ghana and Africa, I'm like, keep your tired butt home because you created the mess that now the whole world has to suffer for. 1/3 of these morons, all the people that did not vote, 1/3 of the morons that sat on their hips. Yep. This is because of you.
Yes.
And guess
God's
what?
honest truth.
If I'm on the other side of the ocean, I'm saying you ain't allowed here. You have created a world crisis. Yep. Now the whole planet has to readjust because 1/3 of you Americans sat on your nasty little pots and did nothing.
They should be shamed. No, seriously. You remember that scene from Game of Thrones when they walked her through through the town and they're throwing stuff and shaming her? Like, they need to be shamed. Like, no, seriously.
Shame.
They are the absolute reason why we are in this mess. You know what? You can't even say it's the far right Republicans that put us here. Yes, it's not them because at least they stood strong in their conviction and voted for their person. It's the people that said, I'm just not going to participate. And the thing about it is, I know of people like that. And I was no longer friends with them after the first time that Trump got in office because they decided not to vote.
That's right.
Both sides
This is their fault. The 1/3 of Americans that sat on their nasty little hips did nothing, but they are the cause of a world problem. France, like I said, meeting in Brussels, Germany meeting and saying we no longer can depend on America. All of this is because of 1/3 of Americans that sat on their nasty hips. 1/3. So my thinking is, because I have lived abroad for a moment, I have been overseas. I travel overseas. I love my friends and people that I meet in all these different countries. But I understand if they will just say, you know what, Ron, those stupid Americans, because most of the world sees us as stupid Americans.
Yep.
And when we put him in the first time, they saw us as stupid Americans. They could not believe. Some of my friends could not believe that they put this man back in office.
I couldn't believe it.
No one could believe it.
Convicted felon.
He's a felon.
Criminal. He is a criminal.
Criminal.
We elected someone who has been convicted of 34 felonies. Like that, just let that sink in. You look at people who are convicted, when you see them in the streets, or you don't even want to give them a job because you can't trust them. But yet and still, we gave someone who was convicted of 34 felonies by his peers, not by one judge, by a group of people.
Yes.
And said, you are guilty. Guilty. Okay? And you know what? We're going to make you president. Come on.
Yeah.
We're going to make you president.
And then people are surprised that he's letting criminals out of jail. He's letting criminals get away with murder. He's now that you don't want to get the guy that, what's his name? Chuzin, or whatever his name is. Chauvin. What's his name?
Isn't it Chauvin?
Chauvin. Now they want to get him out of prison. These people are ruthless. They're evil. And I know we all taught to say not to call other people evil, but however, these are evil people. These are evil people. Derek Chauvin, whatever his name is. There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chauvin.
Whatever. His name is.
So I'm thinking of the day after tomorrow, when you had a whole bunch of U.S. citizens trying to get into Mexico, and they wouldn't let them in until.
Could you imagine the Mexicans saying, "You can't come here"?
They were like, "You're going to have to give us something. You have to clear our debt before we can open the borders to let U.S. citizens in." This may be more like Fallout Shelter. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a good series. I mean, at this moment, our reputation is garbage.
It's garbage.
So
but again, because
early
1/3 that on their nasty little hips.
What does it say?
Nothing.
It just takes one person to spoil it for the rest of us.
It does. It takes
1/3 of this country to spoil it for the rest of us. Yeah. When you can't, as an American citizen, try to just drive down to Tijuana and they're like, nope, you're American? Yeah. And then for Europe to say, you know what? No, you need to get pre-authorized to come into our country.
Right.
Thank God we went on our European trip last year, because now it would be, not that it's impossible, but it's just like a whole nother thing.
Well, people look at Americans differently, for sure. Now that this country has put this moron in the presidency, because we are Americans. The great thing about being a person of color, thank you, is when I travel overseas, and my Nigerian buddy taught me how to travel overseas. He was like, Ron, do away with all your colors. Because I like orange and all these nice bright colors, and he would say, only Americans dress that way overseas. And this is what we'll be in the marketplace in London, or we'll be somewhere, and he said, see, American, and Americans are targets because, people that are gypsies in Spain and all other places, they target the Americans because the Americans are so obvious. They wear bright colors. They wear their American flags. They wear, they try to be fancy, and this is typical in Europe.
Yeah.
So I started going to shop. Knew I close out, going shop to shop. And I noticed when I was in Italy, in Milan, that most of the clothes were black.
Yes.
I was like,
Well, yeah,
everything is black.
90,
Black
like
blazers, black shoes,
90%
black
plus.
bags, black jeans, black. Everything in Milan
Yep.
showrooms were black.
So true.
And I was like, oh, my buddy was right. And so we and I say this as people of color going about in Europe is different from a white American. They don't know where we are from, because when you go to Spain, there's lots of Africans. When you go to UK, lots of Africans. When you go to Paris and go to different parts of France, lots of Africans. So the assumption is you're just another African until you speak, until you open your mouth. But most people just see you as another African, or they see you as another. If you're in Spain, you're just another Spanish person. So you can, just be Spanish and enjoy Spain. So, but however, when you are white and you are in those countries, and they perceive you by the way you look and dress, and they do not. I'll never forget when I was in Paris. The counter to the woman said, "We don't like them," and I was like, because they get the impression of a lot of young white women. In this case, they consider them very snobbish, very like elitist. Like, you're supposed to speak English. Meanwhile, you're in Paris. They're just the arrogance that Americans have. So when you travel abroad, people automatically look at the white American as a problem.
Yeah.
Now I can't imagine what it's like. I can't even imagine what goes on in Europe. I can't wait to get to Europe, because I gotta get it. As soon as I sell this apartment, I'm out. I mean, just to travel.
Moving forward, when I travel overseas, I want to walk with my Jamaican birth certificate.
That's right. Where you Jamaican outfit?
I'm from Jamaica. That's where I was born.
Wherever you are from, you're going to embrace even if you're a white and American. And you go to Ireland, make sure you put on your Irish jacket, put your Irish stuff on. When you go to Paris, make sure you wear your Irish gear. when you travel to Brazil, make sure that you are like, you know what, I'm from, Czechoslovakia, whatever. You're not an American.
I'm not an American.
This is when Americans need to go back to their roots on all levels.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, and I'm going to close out. A lot of Americans have the ability to do what's called dual citizenships. And it is easier for you to do a dual citizenship from the country your family is from.
Yeah.
So if you are from an Irish family, you can get dual citizenship easier from Ireland. If you are Spanish from Spain, you can get dual citizenships in Spain. If you, wherever your country is, if it's Barbados, if it's Jamaica, if it's, any of these places, you can get your dual citizenship a lot easier. That may be the first one you want to get.
It's funny you say that, because a cousin of mine actually just did that at the end of last year. During I think it was Thanksgiving, she was like, "Oh, I got a surprise for everybody." She pulled out her Jamaican passport. Now, mind you, she was born here, but because her parents are from Jamaica, she's able to apply for a Jamaican passport, so she has dual passports.
Yep, get it if you can, because it's gonna make the difference. Because America is isolated. I say this in all my little hashtag. Eagle has fallen. The eagle has fallen, and it's not getting up for a long time. It won't be. Is the gentleman that came to our church 2 weeks ago, the guy that's usually on Joy Reid's show with the big afro, big white afro. He says America's done. I don't want to be the one that's the Debbie Downer, but the America that we knew last in January is gone.
Yeah,
it ain't coming back in our lifetime. It may come back in your children's lifetime, But for all of us who are 40 and over,
yeah,
it
the
ain't
damage
coming
is
back.
done.
It's done.
Serious damage.
America is done. And we have to start thinking accordingly. So again, if you are Irish, go get your dual citizenship. If you're from Italy, go get your dual citizenship. Go to your country and get your dual citizenship. And hopefully, if you're a mega person, don't matter what color you are, because there's some black ones in there too. There's a bunch of crazy mega folks. Y'all don't have to get your dual citizenship. You can stay right here and if the country burns down, let it burn down with you in it.
Oh, it's going to burn.
The rest of us, we are going to be thinking on what we need to do for the future. And on that note, Gwendolyn, any last words?
I almost started to think of Jesse Jackson say, keep hope alive, but that ain't it. Because hope is not a strategy. So here's my thought. My thought is, get involved. Like really, get outside, get involved, support your local stores. And if you don't know your neighbors, check them out. If they're good neighbors, create a little pocket, a little pod, and start working together. Because I got my beans yesterday. I picked up 5 more bags of beans. Real talk.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, last words.
I've been saying this for a while now. Stay woke. Pay attention. Do research and listen to people who do research and have knowledge and expertise in some of the things that you're listening to, because this is going to be very painful. We haven't started to feel pain yet. And
this is nothing.
This is nothing.
Mm-mm.
And we are in for a bag of hurt.
Mm. And tomorrow we're going to have a bunch, because tomorrow's Focus Friday. So we're going to have a lot of Instagram accounts, a lot of, come ready, because it's going to be a lot of information I want to throw at you tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot of YouTube channels that you can go to, that you can follow, that you can get information. There's going to be also some different platforms I want to bring to you. And I know it's going to be, and it may be a part 1, part 2, because it is a lot of information. I've been gathering a lot of information for you guys, but we're going to be definitely going through them tomorrow. And so that way you'll have
suggestions.
Taking suggestions as well. Yeah.
So are you creating a post to get those suggestions before Friday?
Oh no, I already have a bunch now, but we can do that. We can do that after, because we're going to continue doing this on Fridays. So yeah. I already have them already. So they're already lined up in Focus Friday saved envelopes.
But if people wanted to suggest something, could you create
a
post so we can leave that before Friday?
Tomorrow's Friday. So
what she's saying is, I think you should create a post in which that people can leave their suggestions.
Oh, well.
He wasn't picking up the hint.
So, you gotta be direct with me. You have to be direct. Sorry. I'm not the one that you can hint.
It's okay.
I want to hint. You guys see this work husband and wife chemistry.
It's been on full display today. Full display. It's okay.
Anthony said he really wasn't picking it up. Yes, I am a little slow in that area.
We'll just blame it on the surgery. It takes a while to get fully back up and running.
Anthony says, I'm here in pain. That's right. Thank you. Sterling says Ron is on a delay.
There you go. That's what that is.
I operate on delay.
Okay.
Anyway, so yes, we'll do a post. If you have any suggestions to add to the list, make sure you send it. You can just slide it into my DMs or just send me a connection. I'm going to do the post today, so that way you can add on to it today. So I'll do that. Do the post today so you can add on today.
Great suggestion.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. See, I think with the left side of the brain. She thinks with the right side of the brain. Well, wherever brain. Well, I know it's sometimes opposite. So, guys, have a wonderful, and make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share. Share. If you got information out of today, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you share this information with your family, friends, and all the people you love, and all the people you want to inspire and to encourage. Okay, guys, we're out of here. Thank you for joining us today, and we are out. Love you. Have a great Thursday. Love you all. Bye. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.